Gaurav Sharma is an independent energy analyst. Gaurav, welcome back to the programme. Well, I mean, how does Austria find itself in this situation after the EU dramatically reduced its reliance on Russian gas?
Good to be back on the program. Good to see you. You see, this is a problem of the Austrians' own creation. They were warned as early as 2016, and there was no expanded conflict on the horizon. Russia had still annexed Crimea, but this was not on the cards. They didn't heed those warnings. Now, when the conflict broke, their neighbors and various other European nations turned to US LNG or imported LNG. Now, for Austria, it's a bit of a pickle. There is a dependency issue, as your colleague mentioned in his report, of almost 90% reliance on Russian gas. And then there is this whole conundrum of the Germans, who are the main gateway for LNG into Europe, charging them as a surcharge, which is almost 2 to 4 times over the market rate for importing it. So they got into this mess because they didn't heed to any of the warnings.
Hindsight is very useful, of course, but I mean, just how risky is over-reliance to this degree on a single source of energy, given these geopolitical circumstances?
Well, absolutely. You see, it has implications for the near neighborhood as well. This is Austria's problem in the main, but the domino effect will be sort of felt in Hungary and Slovakia as well. So it's all well and good that they're now saying that they're looking at discoveries, domestic natural gas discoveries. Those will take a long time to come on stream. In the meantime, if there is disruption, and it is an if, they'd be paying the Germans at least 3 or 4 times over to import that gas.
What are the realistic alternatives available then?
I see in the longer term, they have to work with their domestic partners, both in Northern and Southern Europe. But the problem there is that the European pipeline network, as it was, it's not as unbundled as it is, say, in the States. So that's basically meaning a separation of the producers and the transportation network. So they'll have to work more closely, and they will probably end up paying over the odds over the next 5 years. That said, you know, Ukraine is likely to watch out because it's very pro-West. That said, as your colleague said, an errant missile or rocket cannot be discounted disrupting networks.
This 5-year agreement with the Russian state energy firm Gazprom to continue Ukraine's role as a gas transit route finishes at the end of this year, doesn't it? So what does that then mean for Europe?
I think for the 3 countries I mentioned, for Austria, Hungary and Slovakia, it is a big problem. They say that they're trying to mitigate it. The Slovakians issued a communique alongside the Austrians and Hungarians that they're trying to mitigate this. They haven't exactly spelled it out. And my hunch would be that they'll turn to the near neighborhood to try and import some gas indirectly from the LNG cargoes that are arriving on European shores.
Gaurav, good to see you. Thanks so much for coming back on the programme again. Gaurav Sharma, the independent energy analyst in London.